Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. Just fired up some incense, get the nice aroma going. We got one more day till the weekend. Hope you guys have a good weekend planned. If you want mentoring or coaching, go to my website, skyazrael.com. I'll put you on the schedule. We'll level up together. Let's talk a little bit about self-transformation. Changing who we are. Why would you do that? Well, the reason why I did it is because who I was really wasn't working out. I had stumbled down a path that I had traveled for quite some time. But I woke up and realized that this wasn't really working for me. And you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to change your mind. You don't have to stay the same version of you. People plant this flag and say, this is who I am. Well, who are you really? A lot of people really aren't who they are out of the intention. Big truck just drove by. A lot of people are who they are just because that's where they ended up. Started off on a path, you don't really know what's down that path, and you just ended up where you end up. People look at their persona of who they are in this world as just a collection of things that have happened to them. But isn't that letting the world mold you to create you? The world created you who you are. Your environment created you who you are. You're a product of your environment. And that's what I was. I was a product of my environment. And I had run these narratives in my head for many years. Came from a broken home, born homeless, grew up poor, whatever. You know, I have my little story. I've talked about it in various videos. And those are all things that have been largely outside of my control because I was a kid, and I decided when I was around 18 or 19, well, this is the kind of person I am. I planted a flag in a rather weak version. And I say weak because I had felt out of control, and when you're not in control of your own life, when you're just kind of like a feather blowing in the wind, you may feel like that life is very chaotic and that you're very powerless, and you may not understand how dreams get accomplished because a feather blowing in the wind, somebody who lived their life that way, has that mentality, is out of control. They're not directed. They're not moving towards anything. And I had never really been moving towards anything because I had let the world create me, so I was rather victimized. And I had this mentality of, look, everybody created me into a monster. Not me, I didn't do it. My parents, teachers, the cops, society, right? All of it. All these external factors, they turned me into a monster. And I started off with this: I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask to be put into a hard life. I didn't ask to have all kinds of bullshit going on around me all the time. I did the best I could. I survived it. And my whole outlook was really just, I'm this bruised and battered person who's kind of made it through the world like a pinball in a pinball machine. And somehow I'm still playing. But that's a rather weak way to look at life and look at yourself. And sure, I'm just rambling about me, but why are you the way you are? Have you gone through a transformation? And what I mean by that is to sit down and think about what kind of person that you want to be in this world. What kind of man do I want to be, and what kind of life do I want to have? What kind of legacy do I want to live? Do I want to follow traditions, or do I want to create them? What kind of person am I going to be? That's pointing yourself in a direction that may be different than where you've been, because when you decide what kind of person that you're going to be, you're no longer in this realm of victimization, of the pinball machine game where you're being batted around. You're not going to let the world change you. You're not going to let other people decide who you are. You're going to decide who you are. I'm going to be a happy, good-looking, healthy, productive, successful. You can start brainstorming. What kind of person am I going to be? And then be that. And this takes a little bit of humility, because you have to understand where you are when you're on a path. Even if it is the wrong one, you have to look around you and say, okay, let's get a really good layout of the land here. Figure out what your options are. So you could do a lot to change. You could start with your appearance. Change your hairstyle. There's some guys that have never changed their hairstyle. Start working on your complexion. Start shaving up a little bit. Just pay a little bit of attention. You don't have to be some weirdo. Some guys that line their beards up too much, and they do too much beard oil, and they're clipping every little hair and doing their eyebrows, and some of those guys are weirdos, man. Don't need to be that way. Some mirror boy, always in the fucking mirror. What's that new shit everybody's talking about? Glow up to glow up. You don't need to join any kind of weird fad like that, but you might want to upgrade your appearance. Have you ever done that before? Many people haven't. They've never even thought about it. This will change your life. You're changing who you are. You may want to get in the gym and get in shape. Imagine what you'd be like if you were in great shape. Imagine being in the best shape of your life. What does that statement even mean to you? Just imagine, what would it be like to be in the best shape of my life? Your clothes would fit. People would look at you different. You might live a little longer. You might be a little stronger. Your kids might respect you more. Your wife might want to fuck you more. There's all kinds of benefits. You might get that job, and you don't understand this. Well, try getting in better shape, and you might start to realize how the world responds to you and how much more powerful that you become in it. You could get a new car. You could change your job. You could move to a different apartment or house, a different side of town, or to even a different town. Have you ever done that? I have family members that still live in the same town. My mother, and I love my mother, but she lives in the same town that she grew up in. I think that's weird. She lives right next door, and I'm not kidding, literally right next door, in the house next door to the house that she grew up in. To me, that's weird as hell. That's weird. Find a place and live there because you want to live there, not because your parents moved there. You live in your little comfort zone. This is all I've ever known. You live in a tiny little fishbowl. A lot of people do. How many of you live in the same city that you grew up in? I have a thing, and I talk about it in another video. I think everybody should leave their hometown. You got to go out there into the world. You got to leave that comfort zone and find out who you really are. It's hard to find out who you really are when you're stuck with the same friends, the same life that you had when you were a child. But there's an amazing amount of work that you can do, even little micro things. Say you don't want to move. Say you're happy with your job. Say you have a certain type of life that you're not really interested in changing, but you still want to go through a certain personal transformation, and you want to become your own man. And that's ultimately what we're talking about here. Breaking beyond this victimhood of the world made me this way. I'm a product of my environment. Have you heard people say that? They say they're a product of their environment. That's the cry of a weakling. I'm a product of intention. I am who I am, not by accident, not by somebody else, not by you, by me. It's intentional. You could go inside you and start to self-analyze some of your deepest beliefs. Are you an atheist? Do you believe in God? Why? I've been very critical on both. This will help you decide who you are. What political views do you have? The same as your parents? Your parents were conservative, so you're conservative. You're a brainwashed idiot. I'm not saying to become a liberal. I'm not. Some of you are majorly triggered right now. All I'm saying is to question your beliefs and become who you want to be, not who the world made you. Stop this product of your environment crap and have your entire persona of who you are be incredibly intentional and designed and thought out. And this way you can be extremely happy and content, satisfied with who you are, comfortable in your skin. And when you have that kind of confidence as you're navigating this world, it's a lot easier to accomplish your dreams, to have a sense of meaning and purpose, and to really feel whole. We can talk about this more in a private session if you guys want. Just let me know.